My name is Nicholas Howard Faris. I was named after my uncle Nick, who is a surgeon in the Army, and my mom's brother Howard, who was a big oil man. Well, the name Faris in Arabic means knight in shining armor, mind you, and keeper of the horses. My grandmother was full-blooded Lebanese, and she came to Ellis Island at the age of 12 around the year 1900. She must have been very educated. She spoke French, English, Arabic, and learned Spanish when she got here to help run the family business, which was a huge mercantile at that time in a town called Talpa. In New Mexico, they had a Talpa, and in Huerfano, they had a Talpa. So the mail kept getting mixed up, and they told the people in Colorado, they said, you have to change the name. They decided to name it after the Faris family because they were so benevolent and giving to the locals. So they called it after the oldest child that they had, Jeanette. It was named after her. They called it Farisita, which in Spanish means little Faris girl. The local the herders mostly would come in and they'd say, we need credit, we don't have money. Can you supply us with guns, flour, bullets, saddles, whatever they needed, bacon, anything they had in the store? She would let them buy it on credit. Then in the fall, when all these different people that were out in the hills running these sheep, they would come in, and most of them were honest, and they would pay their bill in full, and she would get half of the lambs and half of the wool. And they went through the Depression. They owned the whole city block there. My cousin Kay Beth writes books. She's written 5 of them. And she said we owned that whole block catty corner from here. We owned part of a bank. We bought a ranch with a man named Red McCombs right out of town here that the Rockefeller family owned. Because Colorado Fuel and Iron came in here and they developed all these coal fields. We've been in the cattle business and the real estate business, and I've always had a passion for real estate. My dad ingrained that in me. I was raised on it. He was a sheriff, he was the water commissioner here, and we always ran cattle, and we started buying and selling ranches. And we would buy a ranch, let's say 5,000 acres, and we'd cut it up in pieces. We'd sell it, we'd continue to run the cattle on it, keep the mineral rights, and enjoy it. And we did that enough times that we've sold 35,000 acres that way. My dad hurt his back picking beans in my mom's garden. And he was in bed, laid up, and he was reading the paper, and he says, I see where Pinon Canyon, where Fort Carson wants to expand from Colorado Springs, but Pueblo won't let him. He says, I think I got an idea. I'm going to go down here and tie up all these ranches in southeast Colorado. And he went and he got a broker in Rocky Ford named Harold Hancock, and they went down there and they got what you call a joint venture contract. And they got all these 5 ranchers to put all their land in as that we agreed to try to sell it to the Army. It took us almost 12 years, but the government finally bought all that land. It's the largest free world tank training base in the world. And when my dad built that motel west of town that at the request of these big developers, he named it the Marlboro Inn. And it was a motel, restaurant, curio shop, and a bar. Well, we were all big drinkers and partiers, so the bar fit right in, okay? Well, anyway, it sits west of town here, and it's on a lake. It's west of the hospital. It's a beautiful facility. And it was real popular when we built it. It was brand new. It recently burned down, unfortunately. It was a very historical thing here locally. I played quarterback at the University of Wyoming. That's my fame to claim, and I didn't follow through. And I played 1 year there, and then I went to the University of Colorado. I got to play on Folsom Field against the Buffaloes. But I decided to come home. I didn't like college, and I wanted to be in the family business, and I got my real estate broker's license. I got married to a local girl, her name's Cherie Sanny. She was the queen up at the college. I had 3 beautiful children and 7 grandchildren. That's my pride and joy. No, it's all really interesting about what's gone on here, and it's a great community. I love it here. I would never leave. I never like to travel anyway, and to me this is home. I would miss it all.